Precious women of valor, precious men of valor, welcome to Leadership Excellence for Women by Women Talk Show. Connect, explore, transform, and uplift each other's to reach their limitless possibilities.
When did the domestic violence start in your marriage?
Immediately.
93% of juvenile victims of sexual abuse is by people they know.
Yes. Before I used to add it on the free software and people paid for that. Then I got better on my paid software, so I got more clients and they offered to pay more.
You don't need to go as far as fighting a woman, beating a woman, diminishing her, insulting her, humiliating her.
Non, on pensait que c'était une Américaine qui allait venir. Donc...
Les gens, dès qu'ils commencent un boulot, c'est fini, hein. C'est jusqu'à la retraite. Tu vois, ils ne cherchent pas à changer de boulot, ils ont peur.
The testimonies, the stories are just amazing.
Comment démystifier certains mythes sur l'augmentation de salaire et la promotion?
Leadership Excellence for Women by Women. Welcome back to our show, Leadership Excellence for Women by Women. As a reminder, today we are joined by Miss Claudia Yanogo Bonkugu from Woodbridge, Virginia. She's a program manager assistant for a nonprofit organization in Washington, D.C. that is called Housing Up. She has been married for 6 years now with a daughter and another on the way. Our second guest, and not the least, is Mr. Francois Nzi, who joined us from New York City. He is founder and executive director at NYMAX. Mr. Nzi, knowing your financial personality, as noted above, I believe we talked about it earlier on, is another aspect of your relationship that will play a major role in your financial plan and also in your marital or lack thereof. How critical do you think it is for a couple to pay attention while dating and be honest about financial personality and how they were raised? I think you've touched a little bit about it earlier on, but I would like you to expand on it, please.
Thank you again for giving me a second chance to expand on this topic. Yes. Usually when we dating, we talk about having fun. That's the fun part of dating. But once you start dating a couple, as you date or your future wife or husband, if you are dating for that purpose, because dating, sometimes we want to have fun, you date, and then, you're not planning for the long run. But let's say you're planning for the long run and you're dating. There are some signs that you need to look for. And those signs that you look for are, money, personality. What does my date do when we go on the date? What do they ask? Do they ask that we spend here, we go here? There are some places that they're going to want you to go. As a man, if I'm dating, a lady for the first time, maybe I want to impress. So I will take her to some other places, but that's the beginning where things are not that serious. But we're trying to impress the other one and to make the good impression. So you take them to the nice places. But at some point, things start to be very serious if you're planning seriously. At that point, you need to address the real issues. Okay, seriously, we've been dating for some time. I think we could be a good couple. We could, have a family together. At that point, when you come to that point, you need to discuss serious issues when you go on a date, right? Yeah. It's not about having fun anymore. It's about having families. And once you decide that, the serious issues need to come up. First thing that we touch base on was about financial. What luggage I'm bringing in? What are the debt that I have? And so you talk about that a little bit. What the luggage that the other person bringing in? as African and as immigrant in general, we also coming from families that we left family back home. I touch base on that too. You know, what are the other responsibility that I have back home? Are you planning to retire here if you're planning on the run home, or you planning to retire back home? Those are some issues that people also don't touch base on. And when they get together, one want to stay here, the other one is planning to go home, and the whole thing break loose because they're no longer on the same page. So all that go into money personality, not necessarily you're spending here, but also you're spending back home. Some other people are planning to build a house back home where they can't even afford to pay their rent here. All those plans had to come into place. Okay, are you planning to retire there or retire here? If the person are on the same page as you, I'm planning to retire there. Okay, now you need to make a long-term plan to try to build our retirement home. I'm not going back. I'm staying here. I have my kids here. So you need to plan to stay here. So you need to plan your retirement here. All those issues, all those topics need to be discussed seriously. When you start to be serious, when you're not trying to impress anymore, when you now know your partner that you know is the right person for you to be with on the long run, when your partner also agree that you are the right person to be with on the long run, you need to discuss the serious issues. You need to come out with a plan. You need to come out with how you're gonna have families. If you have kids outside of a marriage, you need to tell your partner that, okay, I already have kids outside here. This is what the situation is. If you do not have that, it's going to be your first family. The person also needs to know. And as in one word, what I want to say is about honesty, discussing the serious problem, be vulnerable about, don't have any taboo on the subject, the topic that you discuss. If you have taboo, you are not planting the seed for the long run. That seed is gonna die in a couple of months or year. When everybody's gonna learn about the problem that the other person has coming into the marriage. So money personality had to be discussed. But also you need to detect on your own the clues, the signal. You're gonna have signal to know the person, even if he's not telling you the truth. There are some things that you could detect to allow you to say that this person is the right person or is not the right person, or they're hiding something out from me. I need to dig in a little deeper to know, and then you make your final decision back then, and you have what I call a successful marriage. Not the perfect one, but the successful one. So
I like
perfect
that.
and successful is very, very, very thing to add to that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, here you are talking about red flags. And while you are talking again, I had an inspiration for another talk show. So thank you so much, Ms. Dunzi. That will definitely be managing expectation in blended family. Like you said, sometimes people just get all fly up. Oh, I've seen the love of my life. And we don't think through, like, okay, children staying here or moving back home with the person. Those are things that need to be discussed on top of the finances. So we will come back to that in the future. Let's get now to checking your ego. We know that when we talk about marriage, it's two different personality. The power play issue can get ugly quickly here. Few things build resentment faster than being made to feel inferior. If you've got more cash, you need to be sensitive about how you present spending decision. And if you don't have the money, you need to be prepared for stress and tension that is almost inevitable even in good marriages. Miss Claudia, let's talk about here passing along good habits. If children are in the future of the couple, how could the couple start teaching them about money when they are young?
Yeah. Thank you for that. We need to build responsible financial beings for the future. So financial literacy is very important. It is so important to teach your children a healthy, very healthy way to approach money and finances. Some things that I see parents doing is frustrating the kids. So we don't want to forget that children are, they're somewhat listening and they can feel and they know what's going on in the house. So always arguing about money, always bringing money issues, being like, oh, I don't have money to buy this for you all the time. The kids are soaking that in. So you have to bring a healthy way that works for your family on how you want to bring money or you want to approach money issues when it comes to your children. Also, make them believe that just spending or just all the time saving money is kind of something that goes well is a bit unrealistic. So you want to set realistic goals to teaching them about financial health that would help them grow in the future to being responsible adults and making rational choices when it comes to money. You also want to make them understand that money is not an enemy. Money is not a bad thing. Money is a tool. A tool for you to get to where you are. With your money, you can invest. With your money, you can pay your bills. With your money, you can help others. So you just have to make sure that they're responsible. A few tricks that maybe parents can try is, playing. Kids like to play and they learn a lot better with play. So, give them some hypothetical realities. They like to play mommy and baby sometimes with their siblings or sometimes with their friends. Give them some hypothetical money or some imaginary money. Monopoly, I believe, is a good game, for a family thing. Have them have a vision board. Have them think about the long run. What do you want to be when you want to, how do you want to manage your money in the future? How do you want to spend your money on this? And just look at their reasoning and see if there is things that you could correct along the way. Just those little things that kids will just pick up, not knowingly, but as they grow, that those are things that grow with them. So if they grow in an unhealthy way of spending money, best believe that that's what they're going to display when they're adults. But slowly at a young age, you teach them about money. You have $5. Okay, let's go to the store. What do you want? Also teach them their needs versus their wants, because those are two different things. Do you really think you need that piece of candy? Do you think you need that doll? You only have $5. It's this doll is costing you $6 or $5.50. You got to think about the taxes. You got to add all of that. So you have to teach them at a young age how to approach money in a healthy way again. So there's no size fit all. Things are different. Every kid is different. Every kid learns differently. Just have to be patient. Have to take that on yourself to actually add that into their education so that in the future, they will definitely know how to, be responsible in front of money or act when there is money. A lot of things that we see is that adults, you just get money out of nowhere. Okay, I have extra money. Instead of paying that credit card or paying down that debt, you want to just add some other expense. Or you got to raise at work. Instead of, planning more on taking this, maybe lower your debt, that's a goal that your family has. No, we're going to have more expenses. Let's go take an extra card that we don't really need. That's a want.
Yeah.
So the kid needs to know, I want this, I need this. It's different.
Yeah, budgeting again and again. It's like you just keep coming back. Thank you so much, Miss Nuria. We definitely have to bring you back for the subject on teaching financial literacy to your children. So be on the lookout for an invitation coming up in the next month. Some advice that having an annual financial plan and a regular check-in can diffuse the tension of talking about money and keep you on track. Mr. Nizi, this question will be for you. Do you think that it will be helpful for couple to schedule a time that could be once a month or once a quarter or once a year to check in on short and long-term goals?
I believe so. Again, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a social entrepreneur, and I believe in how you develop business. It's the same as your family is a business. You run your family as a business. You make your, as we mentioned earlier, you make your budget. You develop your budget, and you check if you are on if it matches. You know, it's like balancing your check. Okay, you have to balance your checkbook, and time to time you come. Maybe on a monthly basis, you see, or if it's sometimes it's it might be too many time to do that. But quarterly would be a desirable way to do it. If you could do it monthly, every month try to balance your check and try to see what you have there. As we said earlier, you could have your joint account that you both use to pay your common bill or take care of the family as a whole. That account should be closely managed by both of you. Come every month, try to see when the bank statement come, try to see what you have there, how you balance it, balance your budget your checkbook according to your budget, because you don't do anything out of the blue. Like you have a roadmap. As we said, your budget is your roadmap, yearly roadmap that you have to follow. Each month or each quarter, you check and see how low or high you are, how much money you have in there, what can we afford to do? Can we afford a vacation this year? Based on what your budget that you develop based on your expense, because you're gonna have some expenses that were not planned, that came like unplanned expenses could come in the way. So if you have an unplanned expensive that get into your budget, that means it's going to eat part of your budget because you didn't plan for that. You can't plan for every single thing, but let's say you plan and some stuff that you planned didn't happen. So I have a little more surplus, so I could spend a little, or I could, move it somewhere else.
Yep.
So all those planning are very critical. Checking into your planning if you're going as planned is very critical. You need to do it either monthly or quarterly, or but you need to don't do it every year, because at the end of the year it's gonna be too late. So monthly, if it's not too much, you do quarterly. So
wow, thank you so much, Mr. Nzi. We are almost at the end of our talk show of today. During my research, I have to say that I was quite surprised to find out that 1 in 5 Americans said they have financial disagreement with their significant other at least monthly. That is according to a 2018 Northwestern Mutual study on personal money matter. Among those that were surveyed, 41% said the financial anxiety have an impact on relationship with spouse or partner at least some of the time. This is the highlight that I really want to leave you with. 5 key takeaways. Number 1, a committed relationship requires a calm, honest conversation about each other's finances, habits, goals, and anxieties. Number 2, money problems involve discussion on ego, anxiety about control, and notions of marital roles. Takeaway number 3, for debt issue, couples should always use various tools and strategy to start paving off debt and get on better financial footing. Number 4, having kids change everything. Ideally, couples should communicate their expectation and ideas about how to raise and pay for kids well before they are born. Finally, takeaway number 5, couples who have trouble talking about money can and should seek out the help of a financial advisor or planner for unbiased advice if needed. Mrs. Claudia and Mr. Nzi, Do you have any final word for our viewer?
Claudia, you want to go first?
Sure. Finally, I just want to tell everybody, take money as a tool. Money doesn't have to be an issue. Money doesn't have to be a burden. What you do with your money is, or what you want your money to do with you is going to take you a long way. If you want your money to work for you, put your money to work and it work for you. Have reasonable expectations about your partner, about their needs. Allow them to make mistakes. It's about the learning process. So, hold each other accountable. That keeps everybody in check and keeps, your marriage together. Also, do not belittle the tiny mistakes or the tiny things. The devil is in the detail. Just make sure that, everybody is feeling comfortable in the relationship, feeling comfortable. Just create a comfortable way to talk about money, a comfortable environment to bring up your issues. That will definitely take you a long way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Nuria. Mr. Nzi?
Yes, I think I will second what she said and add a little bit more. Again, kids, first, when you want to get married, don't get married out of having a crush on somebody. Like you have a crush today and tomorrow you get married. I think, I don't think it's a good decision. You had to learn to see who you are trying to get together with, have a long plan. First, you need to have a budget I will discuss throughout this talk show. Second, kids, you need to know when you have a child, both parents, because those also could, even though they come into the picture when it comes to money, because how much you spend on the kids, how much you spend on yourself also is a very big deal. Planning for the kid. I have a child. My son is 15 now. He's going to turn 16 in August. He has a kind of a credit, kind of a debit card that I give him because with me, he go to school outside of New York. He's in a boarding school. So I give him that card. He has a card that I monitor, but I have him. I also tell him to monitor his expenses. See, if you want to buy this, you want to go out with your friend, this is what you need to do. Each month, he has a certain money on his card. He knows how to spend that money. He just left. He was here with me because of the weekend, and he's going back to his school. So, he knows that I have this amount of money there. This is how I need to spend it. I'm teaching him the lesson. He knows how to manage his money. And all those we need to teach them. Some people come to me, Mr. Nzi, your child is so responsible. He's so grown up. He's so, they say, no, you have to teach him. It just doesn't come out of the blue. So those are lessons that parents need to be very careful, teaching your kid early how to spend money, how to use money. Money is a tool. It's always telling me, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this. And I say, okay, sometime, and you want to help. He like to help a lot. And I tell him, if you don't have the money, you cannot help. That's one of the tools. Make sure that you make it. But then if you want to help, then you have it. But you can't help if you don't have it. And that's one of the problems that we as immigrants, and I will insist on that, sometimes some of them make that mistake, trying to help everybody back home, right?
Ooh.
But then you hear and you can't take care of yourself at all. So one of my take is that try to be at somewhat stable here. Then you could help. If you are not stable here and your marriage is crumbling and you can't do anything, then you can't help. So prioritize. That's one more thing that I want to prioritize. When you know your priorities, and both of you, husband and wife, know your priorities, things will be very well. And I want to leave it there.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was really a pleasure to have the two of you. Mr. Nzi, may I ask, I know New York is very famous for having so many international restaurants. What is your favorite restaurant in New York?
Okay, my favorite restaurant, I have two. First one are my friends. My two friends have very good restaurant in Harlem. I live in Queens, but my business is based in Harlem, so I'm in Harlem all the time. Ponte Bistro, if you heard that name, and Harlem Renaissance, my favorite restaurant. I'm always there and having good food via my good friends Chef Cisse and Chef Hali from Senegal. Have this great, beautiful restaurant in Harlem. So.
Well, glad to hear that. Because of your bravery, like I said earlier on, the Leadership Excellence for Women by Women is pleased to give you, to issue you a gift card of $100 for you to take your significant other for Father's Day, today being Father's Day. Just enjoy yourself, and this is also a way to really encourage other men. Whenever we really reach out to you, it is not just for yourself, but also to really help to build up other men, other precious men, other precious women of valor that are not at the level that they would like to be. Bottom line, today, as a conclusion, I would just like to say one thing. Lack of communication is the source of many marital issues. This space is where the hard work of marriage often lives. Like common health problems, financial anxiety, believe me, if not addressed, can become far bigger problem with much more difficult solution. Studies have shown that people with more power are more likely to act selfishly, impulsively, and aggressively, and approach others with less empathy. Each partner in a marriage should ask themselves whether the behavior works toward the goal of a more kind, appreciative, and equitable relationship or not. When working together, that's really my last word, couple can achieve more than singles can. We really hope that you have learned a lot today with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. And again, happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all the mothers, the single mothers that are really making it happen every day of the year for their children. We truly appreciate you, and you are the very best. Thank you so much again, Mr. Nzi, Miss Claudia, and our viewers for staying with us, and we see you next time.